You may have seen this image before floating around on the internet. It shows all the women who have played Storm in live action or voiced her in animation or video game. In this video, we're going to celebrate all of these talented women, and we're also going to celebrate the character of Ororo Munroe, aka Storm, who turns 50 years old this year in 2025.
Happy birthday!
She made her debut in comics in Giant Size X-Men #1 from 1975. So are you ready? Let's start with Alison CE Smith. You may not recognize her, but you spent your whole childhood listening to her voice. She's the voice for Storm in X-Men, the animated series, which started in 1992. She was born in Barbados in 1959, and she went to college in Canada, and she's a Canadian citizen. She's been working as an actress in film and television since 1987 in America. She has a very lengthy resume, but of course Storm is her biggest credit. She reprised her role as Storm in X-Men 97, which came out in 2024. She also did the voice of Storm in 2 What If episodes on Disney+. If you see her on the con circuit, be sure to support her. She's a very nice lady. Next up is a woman who doesn't need much of an introduction because you already know a lot about her. Halle Berry. She has the honor and distinction of being the first woman to play Storm in live action, playing the character in 4 different movies: X-Men Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and Days of Future Past. These appearances, decades after the fact, still have fans divided. Being that this character has always been a leader in the X-Men, she was basically sidelined as an unimportant secondary character. And although she's a gorgeous woman, Halle did not look like what we expected to see from Storm. Without any exception, it should have been Angela Bassett. But hey, that's water under the bridge. Hopefully they get it right next time when they do the casting in the future for the MCU. We love you, Halle. You're gorgeous and talented, but just didn't work for you as Storm. Next up is Kirsten Alter. She's also credited under her real name, Kirsten Williamson. And her claim to fame is she's the voice of Storm in X-Men Evolution. This was an animated television series that ran from 2000 to 2003. All the main characters that you know are played much younger, like they're a teenager. Kirsten is a Canadian who was born in 1969. Her resume is pretty thin, so the voiceover on Storm is one of her biggest credits. But she does steal some scenes in RV, a cult classic starring Robin Williams from 2006. It's an overlooked comedy that's pretty funny. Kirsten's been doing some stage acting, and she's been bouncing around Hollywood doing small parts, and she'll always have bragging rights to her credit is giving voice to Storm in X-Men Evolution. Next up is Deborah Wilson. Born in Queens, New York in 1962, she got her start in improv comedy. She has stayed busy and has been continually working in show business since 1992. She's probably best known for her role on Mad TV with some hilarious performances. It was a sketch comedy show in the 1990s, which was a rival of Saturday Night Live. One of her castmates was Phil Lamar, who did the voice of Static Shock and so many others, and Orlando Jones, who's famous for playing Dr. Lee in Drumline. Deborah's connection to Storm is doing the voice of the character in the X-Men official game released in 2006. It was intended to be a tie-in for the live-action movie X-Men: The Last Stand, and it used the likenesses of the actual actors from the movie. I never played the game, but people who did said that Storm was completely useless. So Deborah does get the credit, and she's part of Storm history, even if it was kind of like a throwaway. But Deborah is definitely a whole lot more interesting character than this game ever was. If you saw her in the 90s, she had a look like this, but of course it kept expanding with the tattoos and the piercings. Now today, in her most recent look with her in her 60s, she shaved her head and added even more tattoos and piercings. She's a unique talent, she's funny as hell, and I love everything she's been in. She's like a legend to me. Next up is Susan Dalian. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1968, and she's been working in entertainment since the early 1990s. Her connection to Storm is that she voiced the character in the animated show Wolverine and the X-Men, which surprisingly only ran for 1 season in 2009. This is what the Storm character looked like during this run, which was broadcast on Nicktoons, and it had about 26 episodes. Not a household name by any measure, but she's been consistently working out through her career. She even appeared in 3 episodes of Star Trek Voyager in 1996 and 97. That brings us to, last but not least, Alexandra Shipp. She was born in Arizona in 1991. She's a singer and actress. The first time I heard of her was when she played Aaliyah in a very weak TV movie. And when she was cast as Storm, I was very skeptical, as I saw her as kind of a lightweight as an actress. Of course, the accusations of colorism arises, which is of course a very controversial subject. So picking another light-skinned biracial woman to play Storm, was it for consistency's sake because they want somebody to look closely to Halle Berry's complexion? Or was it, and most likely was, there's more favoritism and privilege for light-skinned actors? Because bruh, Lupita Nyong'o was available. She had just won an Oscar for 12 Years a Slave and is actually of Kenyan descent, just like the Storm character is in the comics. Man, don't get me started on this. So Alexandra gets the role when she appears in 2 movies, in X-Men Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. And Fox drops the ball once again in terms of how they use the character. Storm is once again a background sideline character who appears to need permission to do just about anything. They fail once again to really explain her origin or what she wants. She's kind of just like hanging out as the token black person. Alexandra has continued to work in Hollywood in very small roles because I think that's all she is. I don't think there's any real layers to her. She's just a pretty girl. No offense to her, I just don't see any depth there in terms of acting range. So there you have it. That's 6 women that have played Storm in live action or voice work. Are there more than just 6 out there? Some of you guys are real experts at this type of stuff, so let me know. I'm not a real expert on video games, so there may be some more voice work out there that I don't know about. If so, let me know in the comment section. Let me repeat once again that Storm made her first appearance in comics in 1975. So she just turned 50 in the year 2025. If you're not, you should be reading her solo series, which started in 2024. There's some big reveals in it. No spoilers. But in celebration of her 50th, all through the year 2025, I'll be making a lot of Storm content. One of those videos will be the top 10 actresses that should play Storm in live action. I did a list back in 2020, but I need to update my list for the 50th anniversary because there's some new contenders that need to be recognized that I did not in 2020. If Marvel has an announcement who's going to play the role in real life in the MCU in the future, then I'll do that list in early 2025. The debate on who should play the character got reignited when Cynthia Erivo, during the Wicked press tour, announced that she was interested in the role. She's just 5 foot tall. We don't need a short Storm. And although talented, I don't think she has a snowball's chance in hell because she's just too short to play the role for one thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me know what you think about the current video you just watched. Which actress was your favorite so far? Until next time, this is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye.